Chapter 4 Contemplating Angels. The stone path leading to the conservatory where Gothel's mother spent most of her time was flanked with dead weeping willows that quivered in the wind, making eerie patterns of light on the pathway. Gothel walked alone, taking in her surroundings. She loved the statues of weeping angels along the path, some of them peeking from behind the trees, others so old they were crumbling, with their faces chipped away by time. There was one Gothel loved most, her favorite angel. She was made of black marble and covered in dried moss. The angel's face was covered with her hands. Gothel imagined the angel was weeping for all the dead that slumbered in their woods, crying for an eternity, and somehow that made Gothel feel better. She wouldn't ever need to cry for the dead. The angel would cry for her. The angel would cry forever. Gothel wondered how many women before her had walked the path to the conservatory, contemplating the angels. She wasn't entirely sure why she was going to the conservatory, other than she knew her mother was there and some inexplicable force was leading Gothel to her mother. The conservatory was a beautiful building constructed of paned glass, like a giant greenhouse, but architecturally much more stunning. It was a large structure that could be seen from the mansion, resembling a glittering jewel in the otherwise stark landscape. As Gothel got closer to the conservatory, she wondered what she was doing there. She had never bothered her mother while she was doing her magic, not once. She never even asked to be let in the conservatory, but she felt different that day. Somehow, she felt more powerful and brave, knowing later she would be gaining some of her mother's powers. Something about that day was different. Something about today is different, my pet, said her mother, standing in the doorway of the conservatory. Mother, I didn't see you standing there. Would you like to come inside, Gothel? Sure, said Gothel, walking tentatively to join her mother. Don't be nervous, my sweet. One day, this will be your place of power. She smiled at Gothel, reached out her hand, and said, Come inside. The building was filled with a blinding golden light, brighter than the sun, brighter than anything Gothel had ever seen. She wondered how she hadn't seen the light from outside the building. Magic, my dear, said Mania with a laugh. Gothel was dazzled by the brilliance of the flowers, too awestruck to reply to her mother. She couldn't guess how many flowers were in the room. Her mother had placed them around the circumference of the conservatory on many rows of reared benches, resembling seats in an amphitheater. The entire room was filled with the flowers, except the very center, which had some magical markings painted on the floor, and a small wooden table with some of her mother's magical items on it. The light of the Rapunzel flowers was glowing more brightly than the lights coming from the numerous lanterns her mother had hung on large wrought iron hooks around the room. The sight of it almost took her breath away. This is your real inheritance, Gothel. This is our legacy, said Mania, her arms outstretched. The Rapunzel? Asked Gothel in a small voice. Yes, my intelligent beast. After I'm gone, it will be your job to protect it. This is paramount, my black-hearted child. If you intend to live as many lifetimes as I have, then you will have to protect the Rapunzel, if for no other reason than to ensure you and your sisters will always be safe from the indignity of old age. I understand. I think you do, my dear. Mania paused, then continued. There's something I want to tell you, something you can't share with your sisters. They wouldn't understand. Remember when I said that hurting you would be like hurting myself? I do. Did you wonder what I meant by that? Gothel looked into her mother's eyes, searching for the answer, and then she realized she had always known. She had felt it since she was very young, but never had the proper words until that moment. Because I am you. I don't know how, but I can feel it. You've always been the smart one, my sweet. Always so sensible. You know I love your sisters, but you're truly mine, Gothel. You're my favorite, said Mania, giving her daughter a rare smile. Really? Is that true? Asked Gothel, wondering if her mother was being honest with her. What makes you doubt it? Our names, said Gothel in a small voice. Mania laughed. Because you don't have a flower name? You think that makes you any less precious to me? It makes you unique, Gothel. It makes you special. Now go. I have much to prepare for our ceremony later tonight. Mother, you're not planning to go into the mists anytime soon, are you? No, dear. I have a lot to teach you before I do. Does that disappoint you? No, not at all. Good. Now go. I have a lot of work to do.